Yeah. So I just wanted to come on here. I haven't been on in a little while, and I had something to share, which was faith plus devotion. And I want to use the word devotion instead of discipline because discipline sometimes sounds heavy. And for me to commit to something, it can't have the attribution of fear within it. But I am devoted to how I feel. I am devoted to living a life that God has for me. I am devoted to living a life that feels like freedom, that feel like ease and flow. And so because I am devoted to these things, I am faithful that I will have these things, that I have these things, and if something is not there that I desire, then I'm faithful that it will transpire, it will manifest. And I'm not sure in what pathway or how. I just tap into the infinite possibilities and I trust and I'm faithful that it will manifest. So, as of lately, I've been seeing numbers like 1111, 1212, 123, 420, and 888, specifically 448 or 844. And so as I looked up these things, a lot of these things have to do with discipline. And although I don't like the word discipline, I just replace it with devotion. And is about being clear on what you want out of life and become devoted to it in a way that you attract all of it. So for me, once I have clarity and I am clear, I get hyper focused on the thing. But I also have to surrender into the in a way to have faith that it will come about and not get obsessive about how, when, or what path, but trust that it will manifest in God's divine timing. So that's where I am currently. Okay, and excuse my coughing. That's a lot of throat chakra clearing, honey. Okay. Got to spend more time in this room. Y'all see the colors. And so, with that being said, I have learned a lot in this time. I'm always learning, always growing, always evolving. And what I realized is that a lot of the confusion comes from me proving. And a lot of times our goals, our desires comes from a place of proving that we are enough. It could be you proving to a parent. It could be you proving to people you admire or you look up to. And so for me, my own personal experience in that is remembering my 39th birthday and my dad was in town and my mom and my dad wished me the same thing for my birthday, which was so odd, but it made sense because they both love me and want the best for me. And they wished me whatever I wished for myself. That was what they wish. I wish you whatever you wish for yourself. And it was so simple, yet so profound, because what that did was release me of the invisible expectations I put on myself, that I felt was projected from them, but it was really me internalizing a lot of things, such as not living up to the invisible expectations that I felt like they set out for me. And when they had said, I wish you whatever you wish for yourself, no longer, those false expectation no longer had weight on me. It no longer kept me feeling trapped in a cycle of pleasing and proving. And although these were the words that was coming to me, which is one thing I always remember Spirit said to me so clearly, as long as you continue to prove, you will never be. And it was like, I feel like I've been fighting, proving all my life that I was enough, that I was qualified, that you could be my friend, to prove self acceptance, all those things, right? And so once that was said to me from my parents, who I came through into creation, it released me from everything I thought I had to be to gain approval or love from other people, and allowed me to be free within my own self, and free in a sense to declare what I want, to call in what I want to actually experience, not attaching the outcome to the approval of someone else, but just the freedom to be, to experience, to live, to thrive, to love, and allow ease and flow to be my portion, instead of feeling, because whenever you're approving, you're constantly working to be the thing that you're not. But whenever you are authentically you, and your goals and aspirations is free and not attached to anything that is not you, and just it allows it to be in flow and ease. It allows flow and ease to be your portion because you're authentically you. So you're attracting all the things that is in your inherent frequency, the abundance that you are supposed to have, not living vicariously, your parents living vicariously through you, or you becoming the thing that your parents desire for you to be, just for you to be free, for you to be happy in whatever that freedom looks like, whatever that prosperity looks like, whatever that purpose is, whatever those passions are. I just wish you what you wish for yourself. I don't know what that is. I don't know what God called you to, but I want for you what you desire for yourself, not because of anyone else. Yes, you might be inspired by some things, but those things that you are inspired by is just a learning opportunity to evolve or grow or open up to a different perspective or something like that, right? But not for you to prove that you could become this person, attaching that to anyone else just because. It's just because I want this, because I feel like it matches me. It matches my flow. It matches my frequency. It matches my authenticity. Just matches me. And it's not attached to, oh, if I have this, I'll be enough, or my mom and dad will be really proud. How many of us have goals to make our mom and dad proud because they're getting old and you want this thing before they expire? You want to prove that, um, you know, have a reason for them to be happy about your existence. Like, they are already happy about your existence. You know what I mean? It could be so much more different. And so we have to find gratitude in the things that we already have and who we are, our unique capabilities, skill sets, how we think, you know? I find myself in, because I've always been this people pleaser. I'm the eldest child, so much expectations on you, or expectations you place upon yourself, right? Sometimes it has been something that's been passed down from family members, but after a while, you're an adult, you get to choose, you know? And I sincerely think after a while, your parents just want your happiness. They just want happiness for you and nothing else. And once you have cleared your path and figured out what happiness looks for you, and you living authentically in that, it's like, okay, they're there and I'm happy for them. Sometimes as parents, we have this concept of what happiness should look like for our children. And who's to say what would have made me happy, because I have regrets and want my kids to be, doesn't mean that would make them happy, right? So we put so much focus on how other people should be living instead of focusing on how we want to feel and how we want to live in our own authenticity. You take the focus off of that, and we're fighting for someone else's life. That's not how it's supposed to be, right? And for you to attract the things that you want to attract in your life is never about fighting. It's about surrender. Really is, because source, universal consciousness, God, whatever you want to call, already knows what you desire. It created you and all these skill sets and all these experiences that's like Wi-Fi connection, you know? You go back, you're like, man, and all this led up to who I am today. Who is that? Who is that I am? Hmm? Have you ever asked that? Who am I without all everybody's opinions and different beliefs? And who am I at the root of it all? And how do I see myself? How do I want to show up in this experience? And yes, that changes, you evolve, but really, there's only one universal truth about you. And what is that? You'll find that out as long as you continue to seek. But I just wanted to share that because that's what's been coming up for me a lot is the word discipline that I like to change into devotion, self accepting that I am this sensitive, beautiful soul. And there's nothing wrong with being sensitive. And there's nothing wrong with being kind. And there's nothing wrong with wanting to appear as a likable person on this earth, but not to the degree that you rob yourself um, of your own freedoms. You know, I don't want to be likable that bad. But at the same time, just feeling free to be in who I am and not trying to be fighting every thought. Like, is this, and I find myself doing that whenever I'm not in my authentic and true divine flow. I find myself second guessing every thought, every feeling. And is this, you know, because we live in an infinite universe and we have infinite possibilities and infinite dimensions of time, we can select one at every time. And because I know that and I can see the universe expansion and the multiple dimensions, okay, a lot of people with ADHD can do that. I always find myself questioning, is this the action I want to experience or create for where I want to be? You know, what infinite possibility am I choosing to create? And is this a good one? And I want to move from a place of trust and faith and of divine flow, and trusting that I am listening to my instincts instead of trying to be constantly strategic and overly intentional. Like, it's okay with setting the intention of the best and most highest possibility that can happen for me, but to stifle it into the way that it should happen and through who is what blocks your creative energy to receive easily and in flow and in ease, you know. I say that a lot, flow and ease, because I've always felt like I've had to fight for everything I want growing up where I grew up at. And yes, it created some character, some strength, all that good stuff, some grit. But I'm at that place where I'm like, okay, I have those experiences and it was needed for where I was at in life. I'm not having to consistently be there though in my mind. Like, I'm consistently there in my mind. It's like super hyper vigilant of every choice, every thought that comes to mind. And I don't want to be that way. It's kind of like feel like that could destroy your mind in some kind of way, create brain rot in some kind of way, you know? Instead of just trusting divine flow and not accepting everything that the egoic mind tells you, you know, like, oh, you didn't do this, you're not going to get that. And becoming obsessive over a thing instead of just trusting that it will happen and have devotion in a way that it's not obsessive. but is that you're devoted to this way that you want to feel. And although, yes, shit will happen and stuff will not always be perfect, but you can always attune yourself back to that desire, back to that feeling desire, right? You'll know how to attune yourself back because you reside there so much that anything out of it, not that it cause a catastrophe, but anything out of it, you will understand that this is not where I desire to be. There's something to be learned from this, a perspective to be gained. And once you put that into positive, like, oh, instead of, going down a rabbit hole, oh, why is this happening to me? And it just keeps going and going. Your whole day ends up being that way instead of accepting it for what it is and attuning yourself and moving on. Okay. You don't have to stay there. You don't have to stay there. No one should have that much power to take away your joy or to siphon your energy in that kind of way. No one should have that power. Okay. All of that belongs to you. So if you see that, learn how to attune yourself back to being centered and grounded in who you are and that feeling tone you want to have over yourself. Okay. You have the power to control how you feel, you react, and all that good stuff. So when people say that, you actually do. Even though shit happens, you have that control. Now, I'm not saying that you should not respond to some things because sometimes when you respond, you might gain further insight or education into, a situation that might evolve you into a better situation or better you, whatever that may be. But you'll know. Just listen to yourself. Always tune in and not tune in to subjectify your thoughts of judgment but to have discernment. There's a difference between judgment and discernment. Is this aligned with who I am and how I want to feel? If it doesn't give you a sense of relief or anything in a positive light, and it just spirals you down more and more, then you should not engage or respond. If you know it's going to give you relief or release or some type of way, then respond to release yourself from a burden or to provide some type of relief from some type of burden, right? Or unwanted experience. So I just want to come on here and share that. And so hope this helps someone. You guys aren't really talking today, but it's all good. I like to engage with you guys from time to time. And my hair is very natural. I had it in some big Chucky twist and went to the water park and just was like, oh, let's just whatever. But I wanted to share something with you guys. And this card says, in any moment, I can surrender to the powerful presence of love through prayer, contemplation, and stillness. Oh, that just goes exactly what I was saying to you guys, which is we have the power to attune ourselves to our highest good, okay? Through stillness and through faith, through prayer, which is meditation and just prayer can be even affirmations, but just being still with source and checking in, right? So those are the things you want to do if you're having a hard time or something is not turning out the way you want it to. Just attune yourself back to ease and flow. Okay. Listen, I can't sit there forever because happiness is my birthright, baby. Happiness is my birthright. I use positive affirmation cards whenever I'm dealing with something and it's kind of tough for my mind to come out of this obsessive place on thinking of all the ways something is bad or happening negatively. And I sit there and I just, like how you do tarot, I just do it with the cards or how you play cards, whatever. However you decide to look at that, that's most beneficial for you. But take my cards and I just dish out about 4 or 6, however spirit will flow as I shuffle the cards, and it's always something that helps me to just reroute my brain and create better, more aligned neurons to flow, right? And the negative ego self talk, right? And it says, I do whatever it takes to get closer to consciousness. And consciousness is essentially awareness. I do whatever it takes to get closer to awareness because sometimes we get so caught up and we get deep with those negative egoic thoughts. And we just go from one negative thought to another thought till we created a whole story and timeline. And I was just like, oh no, how did I get this far? And so sometimes I surrender those thoughts by finding positive, by alchemizing those thoughts into positive. Like, nope, nope, oh, catch myself. You went down the rabbit hole too far on the deep end. Let's come back to awareness and be aware of what the ego is saying and rebuke it. Okay. This is not the thoughts that I want to have. I just became aware I'm going down this rabbit because sometimes we're not aware. We're so accustomed to seeing negative things and just I think in a way to protect ourselves, we go the farthest to the negative to say, well, if all these things happen, I'll still be fine. And yeah, that sometimes is a good thing because you alchemize it. But if you can help your ego from not even going that far, not saying that, like I said, stuff won't happen, but we are equipped to deal with the stuff that's going to happen. We don't have to pre think it or put ourselves there just because we're afraid of what if nothing bad does happen. You know what I'm saying? What if it all turns out good? And what if the things that we think bad is going to happen has no effect? Because just in the likeness of the other, okay, say for instance, you get everything you desire, but it happens so quick that the build up towards it happens so quickly that you didn't even get to process or enjoy it. So what if we did the negative that way? It happens so quick that we didn't even realize something bad happened because we went straight into positive. What if it was that way for that? Because we have an issue of really remembering all the negative and hyper focusing on the negative that when the positive come, we don't even realize it happened because we're still stuck on the negative thing that happened and we prayed for the positive thing to happen for so long and it happened, but the negative overtook it, right? The negative experience overtook it. So just gotta be aware of our thoughts, and know that obstacles are detours in the right direction as well. Trust, have faith, and believe that it really is. So here's another one. I witness the darkness and call on the light with my prayer. Thank you, universe, for guiding me, source, God, divine awareness, to perceive this fear through the eyes of the teacher of love. Thank you, universe, for guiding me to perceive this fear through the eyes of the teacher of love. Because we all gonna face it. All gonna face it. Here's another one. Here's the last one. The moment I embrace my peace within and surrender the outcome is the moment that the universe can truly get to work. You hear that? Every time I deal these cards, God is always teaching me. I had these cards shuffled for a week just sitting here because I always know that the universe is going to give me some time to really understand what this means. Sometimes I read and don't really understand until life expresses itself through these words. And so, like I said, I realized so much that a lot of it is about surrender. Manifesting is all about surrender because sometimes we hold it hostage to a specific outcome. And God knows exactly what we want and how. Just be fascinated about the how, that it didn't take too much work. It was designed just for you with flow and ease. All right. Peace and blessings, y'all. I'm out.